Hey folks, it's the time of year where most of us have started a fall garden. I just started mine this past Labor Day weekend. Now, I love fall gardening because it's not as hot, you don't have to worry about watering things as much, there's less pest pressure, and there's less weed pressure. So I have a list of 16 items that I'm planting in my garden this year. So if you haven't tried fall gardening before, this might be a great time to start it, especially considering that maybe your summer garden didn't do as well as you expected because of the 4 reasons I mentioned that I really don't like about summer gardening. Now, the only thing I don't like about fall gardening is, well, it's kind of bland, a little boring. There's not much color to the fall garden, but I do have some options for you. So here's my list of 16 items you can plant in your fall garden, some that add a little color. So let's get to it. Now, the first item on my list, and this is in no particular order, is Swiss chard. The great thing about Swiss chard is it can be grown in almost any grow zone. Remember how I mentioned adding color to your garden? Well, Swiss chard fits the bill. It comes in white, yellow, pink, red, and orange. So it can be used not only as something to eat, but it can be used as an ornamental plant to add color to your garden. It can be harvested within 45 and 50 days, which gives you plenty of time to harvest it before the winter sets in. And even if you leave it over the winter, you can still keep it alive and it'll be ready for the spring. The next on my list is kohlrabi. It's from the same cultivar that produces broccoli, cauliflower, cabbage, Brussels sprouts, and even collard greens. It can have some of the sweetness of broccoli, yet have a little bit of the peppery flavor of, let's say, radishes. One reason why it's something great to plant for your fall garden is that it gets sweeter as it gets cooler. Well, I knew it was going to happen. My phone naturally overheated when I was in the garden. So I hopped in the greenhouse and I'm hoping to finish this up, if not today, tomorrow. Next on my list is turnips. Now I consider these to be a double harvest vegetable because you can harvest the leaves, eat those, harvest the roots, and eat those. In fact, I've had it where the roots are cooked with the leaves. Turns out to be the perfect combination. It's a great fall crop, partially because a frost will help condense the sugars in the leaves, which make it become sweeter. So if you tried it before, maybe grow it and let that frost hit it 1 or 2 times, and then see if that affects the flavor enough to make it so you like it. And I gotta be honest with you, when I grew up, I absolutely did not like turnips, not at all. But I realized the reason why. I was eating store-bought turnips. And here's the reason why they don't taste as good when you buy it from the store. They're grown for heat resistance, bug resistance, disease resistance, drought resistance. It's ridiculous the things they grow it for. They grow it for everything but the flavor. So grow it yourself and tell me that it doesn't taste better. Another great fall winter vegetable is garlic. It's so easy, you practically just have to dig a hole, give it some fertilizer, give it some water it some more, and let it overwinter. And the reason you want it to overwinter is because they need a certain amount of chill hour to give it a good-sized bulb. And just in case you don't know what a chill hour is anytime the temperature drops from 45 degrees or below. So let's say tonight it gets to 44 degrees for 2 hours. That's 2 chill hours. Some vegetables need 40, 50, even some fruits need 200, 300, maybe even 400. So check the variety that you're planting of your garlic and see how much chill hours they need. Next on my list would be peas. I personally prefer snow peas. I love them cooked. I love them on a salad. Sometimes when I grow them, I just pick them off the vine and eat them raw. They're absolutely fantastic. Now, the only thing you need for your snow peas or any type of pea is some type of trellising system. You can build something yourself. You can let it go up a fence, but have something so it can grow up, because it will grow up. One great thing about peas is they help fix nitrogen in your soil. So let's say for your summer garden, you've decided to plant some snow peas right in that place. Well, guess what? Those snow peas are going to help fix the nitrogen in the soil. And they don't need a lot of fertilizer either. Next on my list is carrots. One great thing about carrots is that they're all cold hardy. But some varieties are more cold hardy than others. So check your seed packages and see which variety you need for your grow zone. Personally, I found that one of the biggest reasons for seed failure is the lack of using the seeds for your grow zone. In fact, just because you can order it doesn't mean that you should grow it. So if you don't know what your grow zone is, just Google "what is my grow zone" and put in your zip code. There will be plenty of results in Google that tell you the information you need. Now, kale is another great fall and winter vegetable. It can survive all winter in many grow zones. Just be careful about what variety you pick. Of course, the great thing about having varieties is some varieties harvest within 55 days, others within 75 days. That's plenty of time for many gardeners. And for those of us that can grow kale fall all the way through the winter, instead of harvesting the entire plant, use the cut and come again method of harvesting. And that's where you harvest the bigger outer leaves of the plant and leave some of the leaves in the center alone. That way, the plant can still growing and you can get a second, maybe even a third harvest out of one plant. Another great thing about kale is you can eat it raw or cooked. Some people even bake it with some olive oil on it and some sea salt, and they make kale chips. I might have to give that a try. And yes, I already have some kale seeds planted. Next on my list is spinach. You can sow the seeds of spinach 6 to 8 weeks before your first frost date and still get a harvest. Now, depending on the variety, you can harvest your spinach within 5 to 6 weeks. Another great thing about spinach, just like some of the other items I've mentioned, you can overwinter it. Just cover it up some to protect it from the frost. Another reason to grow your own spinach is that did you know that spinach is on the Dirty Dozen list of fruits and vegetables that are ranked by the amount of pesticide contamination on them? Yeah, grow your own. Well, we're halfway through a list, and since you're still here, please do me a favor, hit that like button, hit that notification button, and hit that subscribe button. That way you'll be notified next time I have a video uploaded. Now let's get back to talking about food. Next on my list is lettuce. Lettuce is very easy to grow, but it does tend to bolt in the summer. That's why I tend to grow it in the fall or possibly the early spring. Now your lettuce is generally ready to eat within 30 to 70 days. Now that seems like a big range, but think about it. If you want to harvest your lettuce in 30 days, harvest it. And if not, just let it keep growing. There are so many different varieties of lettuce, surely there's at least one out there that you like, that you can grow. Now one variety of lettuce I want to mention is tango lettuce. This is because it doesn't bolt as easily in the heat, but it also tolerates some cold. Now here's an opportunity to add a little color to your garden by growing the ruby red variety. And just like many other leafy vegetables, why not use the cut and come again method of harvesting? This way you can get more vegetables from the same plant. Next up is beets. Yes, you can grow beets in the fall, but because since it's a shorter growing season, you might not get as big of a ball. But you can still grow them and harvest some great vegetables. Once again, it can add a little color to your garden. Now beets are cold weather champions. They use sugar as a natural antifreeze to protect the plant. They're one of the best at using this trick. Now I'm not going to completely leave off herbs, so I'm going to add cilantro to my list. Now cilantro can grow year round, but they do better in the cooler weather growing season. So why not plant them in a container and use a cut and come again method of harvesting and get an even bigger harvest of these. Next up, mustard greens. And once again, I have to admit, I used to hate them as a kid until I grew them on my own. Another good reason for growing them is that, just like something else I mentioned, it's on the Dirty Dozen list of vegetables that tend to test for more pesticides. Think about that for a second. Grow it yourself. And are they cold hardy? Boy, are they ever. I planted some last fall and I was still harvesting them in the spring because I use the cut and come again method of harvesting. I know I keep mentioning that method, but it's a game changer. I'll tell you a secret, just between me and you, I found about 10 volunteer plants where I had my mustard greens earlier this year. They're out there growing right next to my watermelon plants. There's at least 10 plants out there. I'm not even going to have to plant anything this year. All I have to do is move those guys around. Now imagine my surprise when I saw these volunteer plants growing up in the middle of July. Another can't miss vegetable for the fall is collard greens. And it's sad, but these are also on the Dirty Dozen list. So grow them yourself, don't use pesticide, and you can have healthy food to eat all fall winter. And if you don't feel confident in growing these from seeds, I know I love growing from seeds, but I don't have a problem growing from starts. You won't regret it. And these are very durable plants for your fall and winter garden. I overwinter them. I use the cut and come again method of harvesting, and I get so many collard greens I've had to give them away. Cauliflower is another great fall crop. Now these can survive a mild winter. Now one thing I've had that's happened to me personally is that if it doesn't form a head before it gets to your colder weather where it starts getting frosty, if it survives through that, which it should, the plant will continue growing up once it warms up in the spring, and it can produce a nice good sized head. But if that head gets hit by frost, that plant might be doomed. And if you want to add just one little extra pop of color to your garden, don't just plant the white variety, plant the orange variety and the purple variety. Now I only have 2 more left on my list, and the next one up is broccoli. You can get varieties of broccoli that produce in 49 to 55 days, varieties such as Blue Wind. Also, Green Magic produces quickly too, and it gives you a great amount of production on side shoots. Even when I plant these late in my fall season, I've let them overwinter. I covered them, of course, but I let them overwinter, and for the spring, I had brand new heads of broccoli. One word of warning, if your broccoli was grown in warm conditions and it gets hit with a certain burst of cool or cold weather, the plant might die. But if the plant was grown in cooler weather, that harder cold weather might not even really affect the plant much. You still might want to cover them some. And here's another great opportunity to add a pop of color to your garden. Try going the orange or even purple variety. And last on my list is the simple cabbage. Now these guys can take some cold temperatures. In fact, when I plant mine in the fall, if I don't harvest it before it starts getting frosty, I just leave it out there. Sure, I cover it up some on my worst days of the winter, but I'm in Georgia. I cover it up for a few days, uncover it, and just let it go. I'll get a harvest before the spring. Now, if you haven't done fall gardening before because you're usually tired from dealing with the summer garden, trust me, fall gardening is so much easier. It's also a great opportunity to make up for whatever shortages you may have had in your summer garden. Sure, you can't grow the same plants, but you can still grow some food. And that's what we're all trying to do, right? Most importantly, it gives you the opportunity to grow fresh, better tasting, higher quality, and safer, fresh food that you grew yourself. Now let's get out there and get a little dirty.